Hi, everyone. I am so saddened by what is going on right now in Israel and in Palestine. And this is a message for those of you who are open minded, who are not satisfied with the messages that we are being offered by our supposed leaders. And I just want to share with you something that I hope resonates in a lot more people um, than what I've seen so far, from what we've all seen so far. This conflict has been tragic, no more so than for the people who have to live in it every single day. That means Palestinians, and that means innocent Israeli citizens who were victims of this horrible attack. Should it come as a surprise to any of us that governments do not have our best interest? It's heartbreaking to see. But is it truly different than what we experience in Canada? What we experience in the US? What we experience anywhere else? That's the truly heartbreaking portion of this. Is we're seeing it played out on a much bigger and a more tragic stage, but it it exists. This lack of accountability, this push towards conflict, it is up to us to say enough. It is up to us to tell our leaders that this is completely unsatisfactory. This is not good enough. And if they will not do better, and if better will not be offered, it is not a time to go out and vote. It is a time to go out and lead. That's right, you, me, everybody. We sit on the sidelines and we watch this nonsense go on time and time and time again, where innocent civilians are treated like pawns. And then military gets involved, and we lose so many people in military service. Service to what? Service to what other end than a tragic end? US lost thousands of troops in the Middle Eastern conflicts that they're involved in. For what? For ISIS to take hold in Iraq in lieu of Saddam Hussein? In Afghanistan for the Taliban to just reinsert themselves and reinsert power? And not to mention the hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians, innocents, that lost their lives as a result of this. This is unsatisfactory, and this is a path that we are on the precipice of seeing happen again. The same nightmare. We are reliving it due to immoral and weak leadership. Strength is not the amount of your militaristic response. All I hear is, what is the proportionate response for Israel? What is the proportionate response for Israel? The question is, what is an effective response for Israel? Because militaries can only work, as we've seen throughout history, to create government or leadership change. Post World War II, did we get rid of Nazism and hatred? No. We still have neo-Nazis and this stuff. The ideology persists. If we fight, we cannot shoot ideas. We cannot kill ideas. Eradication does not work. If it cannot work for a virus, how do you think it could possibly work for human beings? Now, if you want to remove a government through processed military strategy, there is a conversation around that. That is not the conversation we have now. They want to get rid of, completely eradicate. It is not possible. That is what we lost so much life for. You can't eradicate the Taliban. You cannot eradicate ISIS and hate groups, hateful groups that have nobody's interests at heart. The only effective way I've seen to get rid of hate is by nonviolence. And nonviolence in what? Nonviolence in the face of violence. That is courage. There's always an excuse. There's always an excuse. Was Nelson Mandela's cause in South Africa not met with violence? Was Dr. King's cause in the US not met with violence? And yet they preach nonviolence? One of the turning points for Mahatma Gandhi in India was a massacre perpetuated by a British general in a place of worship for Sikh Indians. They were praying, but because they were in violation of a ordinance to not publicly meet, this British general, who was brought in to take the reins and stop the unrest in India, he blocked off the one entrance and exit to this temple, ordered his military troop to surround the place with weaponry and open fire on a crowd of 10,000 people until ammunition had run out. Now, what is a proportionate response to that? If we treat life like a scoreboard, we will not ever improve. We will not ever evolve as a society. And our leaders do not understand this. But I think you do. I think you do. Because in the face of that, Gandhi said nonviolence. In the face of all the adversity Dr. King was put with, he said nonviolence. This is the only effective way that I've seen hate get dismantled. No war has ever destroyed hate. None. They've simply changed over the ruling powers at be in whatever land they happened in. You must fight hate with light. And our leaders are not of this consciousness. Our leaders around the world are not of this consciousness. And it is up to us to not demand more of them. They've had enough opportunities. Enough opportunities. It is time for us to take leadership in the ways that we are able. Yes, vote and do whatever you'd like to take, but you must take leadership. Help take leadership. If you resonate with this in the way I think you do, in the way I think the world is looking for this. Take leadership. Start small in your communities, in your families, in your schools, in your universities, in your states. Take leadership. Be willing to work with others whom you disagree with for a common good. For a common good. Don't focus on the points where you disagree. There's too much good that needs to be done that we agree on. There's too much. And all this disagreement of these other points, they overshadow. I'm not to say that they're not important, and I don't mean to, sort of disrespect anybody's cause or what they are passionate about. But if we don't prioritize the preservation of life of innocent people so we can have the discussions of all the things we disagree on, there won't be anybody left to disagree with. And we'll have nothing else to agree or disagree over. I love living on this planet with each and every one of you. I truly do. I wake up every day and I'm excited to see my world, to work in my world. And I want to keep it. This crisis in Israel and in Gaza with the Israeli and the Palestinian people, this is just a small scale of a big issue. And it's time we started taking it seriously and started taking action. I will do my part. I pledge to do my part in taking leadership, in taking action, in making sure we have an alternative to this, to failed leadership structures that we have. Failed. They have failed. It is time for us to offer a solution. If you are passionate about this in the way that you do, please take action. Get others to join you and create more light in this world. Because yes, it starts with the few. But in each of these movements that have sought to bring more light into this world, it always starts as few. And slowly the few become the many. Our world is aching for that kind of movement again. Join me in it. Join me in it.
Lean on me when you're not strong.